Hey, and welcome back to the Quest for Completion. We're on episode 12, and this one, I've already done the episode. I kind of just forgot to do the intro completely, but it was fairly, I jumped the gun on a lot of things. I just did things without thinking. Starting out with the Assault Challenge Pack, which was kind of rough. Not a fan of it, but, you know, we got it out of the way. We got Unicorn Pets, we got all that business. I didn't keep any of the weapons except for Part 2's weapon, which I should have done a little bit better on there, but regardless. Then we jumped into the Lost Quests, or no, the quest for Eternia Shards, and we got Mistymire Forest, very easy. Morrago Desert Town, shockingly the hardest map out of all of them. Aquanos was, I feel like I got lucky in Aquanos, but you guys will see that later. And Sky City, 4-player difficulty, I didn't think it was going to be as easy as it was, but it was pretty damn easy. I gotta say, it was not very hard. But we did all of these with 4-player difficulty. I got all the weapon rewards from each of them. In fact, let me go up here and I can show you guys. I have already put the weapons where they belong, right next to the appropriate trophies. All of them over here. Isn't that cool? All of these weapons look cool. I think at some point I want to collect like one of each weapon in the game, all the unique ones, and then kind of just show them off because I think that'd be neat. But yeah, oh yeah, also the Crystalline Dimension. So yeah. All of those were done, and then we did Crystalline Dimension. I did Crystalline Dimension on every single hero that we have, and that includes Squire, but I didn't do it as Squire. I did it as this guy, although I don't have the armor equipped on him. We did it with these things. I got those from the very first challenge in the game. No towers allowed, deeper well. You can kind of AFK this. You just tab in every once in a while, do a hero boost here and there, and then other than that, you can just AFK it. It's pretty nice, but I wouldn't recommend it as like a permanent weapon. Anyways, let me show off the stats right now because I just kind of forgot to do it in the video completely. But the stats are more or less the same as what you're seeing here is what's going to be what I used in the video. Nothing particularly crazy. And I think for a couple of times I used like the Huntress. I swapped out her gear for DPS gear, but I'll just show off the DPS gear, and that'll be that. Oh yeah, also Summoner, I guess. Man, Summoner really has been, like, taken aback. We have not used him for very long. But, anyways, let's go on to this guy. This is the set of gear that I was using on pretty much all of the heroes. I did not realize this chest piece isn't even fully upgraded. But he's just, you know, capped out in all the resistances. Fairly decent ability 1, ability 2. We finally have a use for the mask. I never realized this, but it actually has really good ability 1 and really good ability 2, even without any upgrades, and it's got health, damage, pretty much everything you could ask for. So we are in fact using the mask. But yeah, I think that's it. Oh, hold on, this character. Do I have it on the ground somewhere, or is it in like a swap out folder? There's an Ultimate Plus Plus. I might have put it in front of the trophy here, actually. That's the staff that I used on my apprentice. Yeah, here it is, this bad boy. We actually got this staff from completing the Crystalline Dimension. But yeah, also I think I showed off this gun as well. But as far as the staffs go, I used that, I think on the ground. My inventory is a complete mess, so I apologize about that. But I tried using this, the Crystal Cane, and I mean, it's a very bad one, but we got that weapon up there, and it was good enough, but whatever. I'm yapping for a little too long. Going to be a lot of these missions. Very janky builds. Be prepared for that. I apologize. There was nothing really in mind for the build, except for Sky City. Sky City, I just did the exact same build that I did last time, so that doesn't change. But yeah, I will be doing the survivals and maybe the pure strategies for these later, once I have a reason to, and or more likely when I'm bored. But for now, you guys are going to start out with me molding a little bit in the Assault Challenge Pack and also crashing in Part 2 for some reason. And the rest you will see in a moment. Time for Mistymire, or the first Assault Challenge Pack quest thingamabobber. The first crystal on this map is actually fairly easy, as long as you don't get hit by the magic missile towers too much. Because, fun fact, they deal 80,000 damage through my resistance, straight to my body. I don't know why, but they shoot fairly slow, so it's kind of fine for the most part. You can run over the traps, most of the traps without any damage. The Ethereal Spike Trap might deal some damage, but the what's it called, proximity traps, no damage. Over here, you're gonna see this second crystal is just kind of a slog. It's rough. I'm gonna get jumped by everyone. I don't know what I said, I don't know what I did, but they do not like me. But the nice thing is, as long as you get in there with roughly full HP, you'll probably be fine. You can just out-heal pretty much everything. It's bad, but it's not that bad. I mean, look at this. I'm on top of an Ethereal Spike Trap. There's 3 Dark Elf Warriors, maybe even 4 on top of me. An Orc, Goblins, Archers, and an Ogre, all on top of me at once. But I just keep spamming the heal, and I'm fine. Pretty much as long as you don't get webbed too much, you'll be A-okay. Now, for this next crystal, there's 2 paths you can take. That left side path is fine, but this bottom right side path is a little bit better in my experience. You just got to watch out for that Spike Trap. But you can just tank it like I did. Make sure to constantly be moving. That's really important for this area, but just constantly be moving. And if you're doing this the way I am, you're going to get pretty close to dying a lot of the time. Just try and heal up as much as you can here. And be careful of the boulder shots here because they deal quite a lot of damage. But more than anything, don't run into the spike blockades and try your best to dodge the spider webs. That's the killer. But you can see we just barely finished it with a second left. And here's what I had to say after finishing the map. Fuck it. Good enough. Fuck this place. Fucking piece of shit map. Fuck this place. Actual cancer. My god. My game crashed. Now, the second map in the Assault Challenge Pack is a hell of a lot easier than the first half. You can get past the first crystal pretty easily and pretty fast, but the time constraint is still very much here. It's just a lot easier to dodge the majority of things. Over here, with these 2 Ethereal Spike Traps and this whole area, I don't know. This place is always where I struggle the most, but as long as you can get past it, which you'll probably drop very low to do so, you'll be fine. Just make sure you heal up in this area, and you'll see there's an Ethereal Spike Trap over here. You could actually just go ahead and, like, you know, tank it, heal, and then just jump down. Careful of the harpoons, they also deal a ton of damage. Harpoons are like 60k damage when they hit you. Not quite as much as the magic missile towers, except they seem to have a much larger hitbox. But that crystal is fairly easy to get. We dropped our hero boost there for a second. That's just because you need to conserve mana. But as long as you're, you know, roughly within 40 seconds here, you'll be fine. Just go ahead here, make sure to get your hero boost back up, or alternatively, just walk around the towers, and you'll be fine. It's a bit risky, but as long as you do it right, you'll be okay. Over here, I don't know why, I just kept crashing. I just had to restart my game to make it not crash here, but you get through here very easily. And as long as you dodge the rest of the boulders up here, maybe heal a little bit before you get there, it's not too bad. And there we go. That's part 2 done. Dickhead. Time for the big bad. Part 3. This made me very mad a lot. It's the first one where I really noticed what the towers are actually doing, so to its credit, I had to actually learn the video game to complete it, but man, it sucks. The time constraint is very fair on it, though, because unlike the other maps where you just have to blitz through everything like crazy, this one, you can kind of take your time. That first crystal there, or that second crystal there, be careful of those magic towers, because they'll just one-tap you. This one over here, making this jump and getting like a bit of a boost is kind of necessary, because otherwise those 2 magic missile towers will just stack up their shots, and assuming you're not on Omega full HP, you'll die. But then just, you know, thug it out in the middle there, get over here and deal with the what's it called, mage. Drop down the Alcatraz hole here, maybe tank a shot or 2 just for fun. As long as you dodge the fireballs here, you'll be fine. And at this point, I would recommend dropping your hero boost because, I mean, it's going to go down either way, but just make sure you heal up a good bit. I remember getting so mad here because I kept getting stuck on the Dark Elf Warriors and the Goblins. I really do not like when the game just doesn't let you play the video game by blocking you with 100, 200 million HP Goblins. But at least on this map, like, you have 3 minutes, so it's not super bad. But anyways, I'm just waiting to get my hero boost back up. Then over here, dodge the 2 harpoons, and then take your time here. Seriously, just take your time here. That's like the #1 thing I can recommend. Don't be visible to the main hallway area, but kill all the goblins, or not the goblins, Dark Elf Warriors, the orcs, and then when you get to this next section, kind of just sit around the wall and try to get your pet to deal a good amount of damage to everything around that wall. Do not go forward. Those 5 shots, you are not tanking those 5 shots, especially not on this month. But once you get a couple of the towers down, you can go ahead and try and tank one of the Ethereal Spike Traps. As long as you don't get webbed here, you'll be relatively fine. There we go. We got through without taking any of the magic missile shots. Over here, It's actually not that bad for the most part. Just be very careful of the harpoons. I was not, as you'll notice, right... Come on. There, I got hit with 2 of the harpoons at once. Got Lee Harvey Oswald, or no, JFK'd a little bit. Didn't really have the movement necessary to dodge those. But as long as you're kind of staying on your toes, you should be fine. I would actually recommend taking out those harpoon towers while you can, especially if you're on cooldown here. Just try to do a better job of dodging them than I did. But after that, heal up a little bit more. You really, like, the healing is kind of nice. Just taking a bit of time to heal here and there is very cool. Then get your hero boost back up, dodge the magic missile shots, and then just make a blitz straight past to all of these towers to the crystal, and you should be done just about there. And that's the entire Assault Challenge Pack completed. I really need to go pee. I'm gonna be honest, a lot of that anger. Oh, that's interesting. I think these are really, really rare to get an ultimate. I think a lot of that anger was from the fact that I had to go pee really badly and I couldn't. I'm gonna keep you. You're cool. The rest of you can go though. Okay, I gotta go pee. No, I don't think those guys care about what difficulty you got the horns on. So there's no real reason to do that on Ultimate, or on Ruthless, but look at that. We got some neat ponies now, I guess. Mistymire Campaign Ruthless Hardcore. Fair warning, this is not a build that is like super efficient. It's just a build that works for my stats, and that's it. There's definitely better stats you could do on lower build, or there's better builds you could do on lower stats. God, it sounds like a fucking JoJo's Bizarre Adventure character name. Anyways, this is just a build that works for my stats, and I don't really want to put much effort into the build, which is why I'm going to do what you're about to see. It works, but to call it efficient would be a lie. It just does its job, and that's all I really care about. But we're going to be placing down basically a stack of auras at every entry point for the enemies. There's only 3 spawn points for the enemies, which makes this a really easy job. But we do have to worry about wyverns starting wave 2. And also, more importantly, well, maybe not more importantly, but as important, we also have to deal with skycopters. Which is why over here, on this bench, as far to the right as you can get it, we're going to place down a stack of auras. You might notice, by the way, we're using lightning auras. That's because we don't really need to worry about enemy HP for the most part. With the exclusion of ogres, as long as we do a buff beam at every major point, there isn't any enemy that has enough health to escape our auras. Which feels weird after doing all those, you know, lost map quests and whatnot, but it's true. On this map, at least for the campaign, even with 4 players difficulty, as long as you upgrade your auras to maximum, or your buff beams to maximum, not even your auras. With my stats, you don't gotta worry about anything. And it's pretty damn nice, I will say. It is very nice to not have to give a shit about anything. You might want to move those auras farther up now that I'm thinking about it. Anyways, that's it for the EV. Swap to our Warden. And I think we have all the mana. But we're gonna be able to place basically every tower except for 1. But as far as the towers themselves, it's just a withstand. It's just a set of withstands, 2 withstands specifically, at every area. Even over here, where it's kind of covering 2 areas, you can still just get away with 2 withstands and it's just fine. So there we go, and there we go. Call it a day. I did not pet you. God, it feels very weird to pet the shroomites. And you might think like, oh, it's because later on you have like the snails and like, you know, you pet the snails. No. This map was the first one that they made. And they decided, yes, the old man looking things, let's have people pet those. Wouldn't have been my first decision, but I also didn't make Dungeon Defenders. Maybe they actually, you know, it's possible that they made the other maps first, like the Sky City one, and then this one was like afterwards. I don't know. All I'm saying, it feels weird to be going up to these old guys and petting them. But the Forest Golems here, they're really just to keep the towers alive more than anything else, and also kind of to draw aggro. I tried this build without having the Forest Golem, like, without having that stack of towers over there. Being in a reachable spot, and I ended up with a situation where because I didn't upgrade the buff beams to maximum, I just died. An ogre just ran past because it didn't have anything to aggro to, I think. And it just bashed this crystal once. The enemies actually move incredibly fast. So I would recommend, in terms of areas to upgrade, like, you know, list of priorities, this right here, this aura stack, definitely number 1 on the list. You want to upgrade this area to maximum as soon as possible, just to make sure that ogres get slowed down and therefore can't get past you. But for every other area, to get past the auras, they would also have to get past the main stack of towers, which is that's not happening. All right, man, it is cool how much mana the Sharkins drop. I really like enemies that just drop a gajillion mana, and the Sharkins, they drop a gajillion mana. They're very cool. I'm a big fan of that. Now then, I forgot to actually upgrade properly, but make sure that this area is up to either 3 stars / just be around here when the wave starts. And the same is true for the stack of auras that I placed in this funky spot over here. Let me explain that. Look at this. There's, where is it? Where is the thing that says it? Here it is. There are 8 skycopters coming in, and a fair amount of wyverns, but many of the skycopters. And those bad boys, they have like 10 million-ish HP on the final wave. But funnily enough, that's not enough HP to care about, at least with my stats. That much HP is just kind of whatever. We can destroy it with the electric auras. I probably have to start using electric auras more often in my builds because they, you know, they really are convenient. If you're not stacking all of your towers in one spot, which is, you know, we're not doing that here, then the lightning auras are very convenient. At least for the maps like this one where enemies don't have that much health, it's pretty nice to be able to just kind of ignore a majority of the enemies and their mechanics. Especially the Djinns. God, I hate Djinns. They're definitely like my #1 hated enemy in the game. Gotta be Djinns. I cannot stand them. At least for the campaigns and survivals. It's just very annoying because they just roll in, destroy your shit. That's it, actually. That's all they do. But that's more than enough. That's more than enough to earn a #1 spot on my shit list. By the way, this Shroom Pit, previously I tried running without the Shroom Pit, and it works just fine. It's just, if you don't have that Shroom Pit, spiders over in this main area and over here, they will clog up like crazy. Like crazy. And it gets really annoying. Also, the Shroom Pits have an insane range. I mean, you saw it was trying to reach over here. They reach really far, so it's pretty nice. But now that we have pretty much everything upgraded to 3 stars, you can basically AFK this. Oh, speaking of the boss, you might be wondering what the plan is for the boss. Very simple. Kill it. Just with this character. Hell, you could do it on, like, whatever character. You could do it with towers if you wanted to, but I'm not going to because the boss, even with 4 players, has 128 million HP on Ruthless. Which just, that feels wrong, doesn't it? That doesn't feel right, but no. It just doesn't have that much health. Anyways, you can see over here, the ogres, they die without too much worry. And if you don't have the stats for the ogres to die without too much worry, you can just upgrade either the auras or the withstands. Me personally, I'm just going to upgrade the electric auras to maximum because then I know for a fact that we'll be chilling big time USA. And also, I don't really have anything else to do for these first couple of rounds. I mean, I'm just pressing Control G. The waves are literally taking 40 seconds. This is pretty close to as fast as you can do this map, at least for the campaign. Although I guess that's not counting the build time, because the build does take quite a while. I will admit, this is not exactly my finest creation. It's just, you know, something that works perfectly fine. Oh, would you look at that? An ogre got past. I don't really know what the deal is with these guys getting past like that. Maybe you might want to move these Wisp Towers a little bit farther forward. I don't really know. Sometimes they take aggro. Sometimes they don't. They're weird like that. But it's whatever. Most of the time it isn't an issue. I mean, you can see down there it isn't an issue at all. Was he standing on the log? Oh my god, he was. Was he trying to get an angle on my towers? Anyways, I'll come back to you guys on the final wave because there's nothing to talk about until then. You might notice I already have a shard on the top of my screen. That is because I'll play the clip. For shits and giggles, I thought, hey, I'll try out this map, see if I can do it with this crummy build that I made up. And it worked. It worked fine. So, all that's to say, wow, this map is easy. This guy was about to get past. Although, I guess even if he does get past, we have the whatchamacallit, the Shroom Pit over here. You know what, maybe I'll upgrade this Shroom Pit. You've earned an upgrade, little Shroom Pit. Yeah, look at that. 2 ogres here doing their damnedest to... Okay, well, I suppose I overestimated the ogre's intelligence. Final wave time. And I'm just going to bring in one copy of every hero because, well, every, you know, weapon type hero because I just want to get, like, all the weapon rewards. Also, I want the Huntress reward one really badly because it's so cool. I really like the Huntress reward. I'm going to quickly swap out her pet, though, because if she's not going to be doing anything anyways, why not, right? And last will be the Apprentice. But as you can see, even with all these extra players, you do have 22 Ogre Copters, which all come in from that direction, but you only have 4 actual Ogres. It's kind of insane. I was always under the impression that there would be way more, but nope. It's just 4 Ogres and 9 Wyverns. I imagine it ramps up quite a bit during the survival, though. Did you make it over here, sir? My goodness. I guess my auras aren't quite large enough. Huh. When I did the other campaign, I had 2 sets of auras, one over here and then one over right where this character is, pretty much. But I guess you probably need another like 500 or 600 in your aura range stat to reach that far. Either way, it is just about time for the boss, which means all of our heroes are going to respawn and then die again. Look at that. Anyways, sorry for your ears getting blasted out. I think I have my dead characters spectating me right now, but she does not have very much health. I mean, you can see it's she's going down rather fast. And I think one more... Actually, she probably doesn't even get another phase. Yep, there it is. Look at that. Pretty neat. And it says we collected the shard, even though we already had the shard. It's kind of weird. Whoa. Hello. I might actually use you in the future. I might actually... Well, no, not you. Anyways, we got a bunch of the weapons. We got one of each kind. This is the weapon that you get. It's whatever. The melee weapon, I mean. And the monk weapon we've already seen. And here's the hunter's weapon. Oh, you don't... Wait, what? Aw. I was under the impression that you got the hard mode and under rewards for doing this on Ruthless, but you don't. That's such a shame, man. Well, either way, we got a ultimate 93 fairy out of it, which is kind of insane. And we've done the map on campaign. Now let's move on to Morrago, where I have yet to make a build. Morrago Desert Town might be my favorite map in terms of the atmosphere, the music, and just the way the map looks in general. I like a lot about it. It's got charm, but unfortunately, I kind of hate building for this map, and also I really hate the boss for this map. It's very annoying. This boss is actually one of the few instances where a Barbarian is kind of like really good. It kind of depends on how much health it has, but basically, you can get your Barbarian to fairly comfortably deal around 80 million damage, or 4 times that amount if you hero boost him in one hit, which can counteract the main thing that this boss does, which is if you hit him for too much damage, or if you hit him for a certain amount of damage, then he just disappears into another bottle, and you have to go play, like, cat and mouse. And it's very annoying, but this is one of those maps where a Barbarian would be nice. Unfortunately, my Barbarian has nothing, so we will not be using him, but if you have one, definitely give it a shot. Anyways, as far as the build goes, it's basically just a stack of towers at every crystal. And then we're going to be doing a little something slightly more funky when it comes to dealing with Sharkins, because unfortunately, Sharkins are the bane of my existence on this map. They have like 30 million HP. They have a ridiculous, ridiculous amount of HP. And we are the ones who have to deal with it. So, let me show you guys how. Over here, we're going to place on this spot right there a buff beam. Down here, we're just going to make a simple line for you right there. And then last 2 spots are going to be fairly simple as well. Over here, a 40U buff beam back there. And then over here, a 40U buff beam like so. Next up is our Warden. And we're going to place down basically 2 Wisp Dens at pretty much every spot. I just can't really think of any tower that would be more efficient than 2 Wisp Dens, so that's what I'm sticking with. Except for over here, actually. Over here, we're going to do a Cloud Tower and a Wisp Den. Same thing over here, because it's just kind of a long sight line, so why not do the Wisp Den? Or why not do the Cloud Tower? It also gives us a little bit of DU left over at the very end to, well, we'll need the DU. You'll see why. But over here, I'm just going to place down a Force Golem with the futile attempt / prayer that it distracts some of the spiders. It won't, but at the very least, I will feel like it maybe will. I don't know. I'm going to be honest. This build, this is a bad build. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. This is just a very bad build that I'm kind of just hoping works. I would look at another YouTube video or Dundef Planner build if you want to find one that is a good build. But this one, this is just something that I want to get us from point A to B. Point A being, you know, not having this map finished, and point B being having the map finished with 4 players. Now then, let's swap over to our secondary character, who we have not used for a while, our Huntress. I actually forgot to equip her pet back on her, so where are you? There we are. Now then, we're going to do a couple of gas traps and call it a day. So over here, down here, there we go. That's a gas trap. We'll move that on our Jester later. And then, up here at this crystal, another gas trap if I have the time for it. There we are. And hopefully I have enough time to swap back to my monk, although we're really pushing it right now. There we go. Just barely enough time. Man, you get a lot of build time, but if you're doing stuff like that, it certainly doesn't feel like a lot of build time. Now then, let's upgrade these auras, shall we? Just keep an eye on where the Sharkins go, because that's pretty much your main threat. You can see this guy, he's already rearing up for a charge and destroying all of our towers. But because we have the gas trap over there, it shouldn't be too much of a concern. Although these spiders, unfortunately, they are going to web our towers pretty much every time. But over here, the Sharkin doesn't get to do his charge up, so it probably won't be an issue. And over here is also the same thing, where the Sharkin probably just doesn't get to do its charge, and it won't be an issue. And eventually, our auras will take care of the spiders, so we don't have to worry about them. And it's not like the spiders can do anything to our buff beams. As long as the towers are up, then the spiders will eventually go down. Although over here, I'm not sure what's going on. Are they just sickened, or are they gas trapped? Okay, they're just gas trapped. Alright, there we are. Now then, let's move this gas trap on our Jester and call it a day. One day I will pull this Jester out of retirement and it will have a use, but until then, it's just going to come out every, like, once in a while and move like a gas trap or an aura or something. I really cannot think of a use for this Jester. It's ever since the upgrader adept was added to the game, and by that I mean just one ability was changed, the Jester really has been in the very back of the utility closet. One day it will have its time in the sun, but until then, it will lie. Oh, by the way, ogres. You see that guy over there on the map? Oh, it just died. The ogres are mini ogres. So, they only have like 30 million HP-ish. And that's enough that our wrist ends and whatnot can deal with them perfectly fine. And the Skogers, they have 2 spots that they can come in, but you can see over here, our auras are going to deal with this Skoger before it has any chance to do anything. As long as we upgrade the buff beam, that is. Alternatively, if that doesn't work, then eventually the electric auras should take them down. And they'll drop down at half health. The Sky Ogres will. Or they'll just die on their own. Honestly, it wouldn't be too bad of an idea to have like a Shroom Pit over here instead of like probably one of the Cloud Towers. Shroom Pits are just better, electric auras for the most part. But the reason I'm keeping the electric auras here is because I don't have faith for the final wave that the Shroom Pits will be able to take care of all the Djinns. But for now, I'm just going to upgrade all of my buff beams to maximum, and then my auras, specifically the electric aura, and that's it. I'm not really going to worry about upgrading anything else, because I don't think we really need to. Why do I feel like the boss is going to have 1 gajillion HP? Something's making me think that, based off the fact that the enemies deal 1 trillion damage per second to me, and on top of that, everything just has a lot of health. I don't know. I feel like the boss is going to have the proper 2 billion HP that it's supposed to. And now, Allah have mercy, we are on the final wave, where I'm yet again going to bring in one of every character type. I have literally 0 faith that this will work out, but I'm just going to place each character at some random fuck-ass spot and pray. I should probably give them, like, guardians or something. You know what? You, Rolo, you, my friend, you get a guardian pet. You get this Huntress, my friend. And I'm just going to place him here and hope that everything works out. Adept. I should probably also give the Adept a Guardian Pet or something. Why is she moving so slow? Oh, right, I stripped her armor off. Oh, that's all of them. Okay. Well, God knows how this is going to turn out, but let's pray. Oh, I'm stupid. I should have given these a Huntress Guardian. I always forget that the Huntress Guardian is so much better than the Apprentice. God damn. Alright, whatever. Let's just hope that doesn't happen again. And if it does, I mean, we can babysit. Cool boss. Just unfortunate that he's a jackass. Also, he might destroy all of my towers. I don't remember where he spawns. I know he goes in this, but I don't remember if he spawns directly on top of my towers. Alright, let's go. 600 mil health? That's not that bad. We can deal with that. Don't. Oh, he's an idiot. Okay. Whoa! Can I just kill him outright? Is he not gonna hide? Oh. Wow, okay. Normally you're supposed to do like a whole ritual. Oh, I got achievements, sorry, I got scared by that. You're supposed to do like a whole ritual where you chase him around and all that, but I guess in Ruthless, he just kind of sits there and takes it. Or it's like a timer-based thing, I don't know. Either way, I'm not complaining. Oh, Oculus the Genie King. Wow, that's depressing. An Ultimate Plus, and it's got, like, no upgrades. These guys can actually be pretty good for damage, because they have elemental damage scaling, and that's, like, really good. But other than that, they're kind of mediocre whatever items. Same with this guy. Well, not same with this guy. This guy's, they're just whatever. The melee weapon is also fairly whatever. And the Shaitan of 1,000 Winds brings me back so many memories from playing this game on PlayStation, but also fairly bad. And of course, no armor, no accessories. That's asking too much. Come on, be reasonable. Sell all. There we are. We got one of each weapon type. And an extra genie pet for fun. And we got an Eternity Shard. Next up is Aquanos. And oh, I'm afraid of Aquanos. I'm going to be honest. I'm really scared. Aquanos time. This is a really cool map. Probably not as close to being my favorite as Morrago is, but definitely up there. Top 5 for sure. It's just kind of fun. The music is like actually like definitely my favorite. No, there's no denying about it. Music in Aquanos is my favorite bar none. It just kind of works. The builds that you have to do are actually really simple and easy. You just place a stack of auras at each crystal, and you have a lot of DU to mess around with. It is, in many ways, in every ways, it is kind of everything you could ask for from a map. It's simple, it's gives you a lot of room to mess around with DU, and also it has a banger soundtrack. And if you like the aesthetic, then weird, but congrats. This is, I think it's a pretty good aesthetic as well. Anyways, I don't really know what I'm doing with the build. I'm just going to place down a buff beam at every crystal and pray for the best. And maybe like a reflector or something. Screw it, no reflector. Also, portals. Portal's a lot more intuitive than the stupid carpets, I will say that. So, now we're going to place down at each crystal a, what's it called, a gas trap, because I simply do not trust anything anywhere everywhere. So I'm thinking the gas trap will mean that we can get over my trust issues. I will probably have to move this one with a, what's it called, with a Jester, but that'll be fine. Now, I don't really know what exactly to do here, so I'm just going to swap to our Hermit, and we're going to place down a Forest Golem at each crystal. And then I will math out the rest of the DU and just place down a bunch of Wistens anyways, because I don't want to think about anything. So, let's see. Over here, you back here. This feels wrong, but you get a Forest Golem over there. And then over here, let's get the mana. Seahorses, very cool. By the way, Seahorse pet, really awesome. I remember back in the day, it was the GOAT. It was an amazing pet. Now it's just like a really good pet, but like not the GOAT. So things have changed, but some things never change, which is that I don't know where I'm going. Over here, closer but far away from Crystal. Now then, we have what? 66 DU left over. Let's do 66 over 3. 22 DU. We can do 3 Wistens at each crystal, basically. So we'll do this one last because I don't have faith in it. So 1, 2, 3. There we are. And same thing over here. 1, 2, 3. And then now we can do something a little bit funkier on this crystal, which is one Shrimpet. And I think I'll call it a day after that. It's been a long one, but we could also just do some other stuff, but that's okay. There we go. Now if you need to, we have 3D left over to mess around with. By mess around with, I mean we're probably going to use it to accomplish all of our goals. Alright, good enough. Now let's swap to our monk. That's not the monk. There we are. Call it a day. I should probably move this gas trap at some point. Move it farther back, I mean. Nah, it's fine. Now I'm betting the boss is going to have somewhere in the range of 1.2 billion health, which I'm not really looking forward to, but I also have accepted my fate because I don't think there's anything I can do about it. LeBron reportedly forgot to do post-commentary, or current commentary, so I'm doing post-commentary. Not Leviathan, sorry, my brain. The Aquanos boss, Mr. Tentacle Man himself, not that bad. You just gotta watch out for a couple of attacks, and mainly just make sure that you're not keeping him near your towers, because he will obliterate all your towers. That, like, stanky breath that he's got going, don't go into stank breath cloud. Real bad. The charge attack that he has, you saw I just did half my health and damage. Not too nice. But you're also going to notice that despite everything, our little wizard pet is just whooping his ass constantly. Also, he's occasionally getting webbed, which is also really nice. And you can see over there, he is in fact able to attack our towers with his stanky breath. So, yeah, that's the main reason why you want to keep him away, because his stanky breath, or pretty much anything that does, will one-tap your towers. But as long as you keep your hero boost up and you keep him away from your main set of towers, which is what I do with all those mages over there, then you should be fine. Also, the mages are pretty nice because not only do they have decent splash damage, but on top of that, they will heal you if you get nearby, which is, I think I relied on that towards the end here, because I ran into the stanky breath really bad here. Right? Right? Yeah, there it is, there it is. I got big stinky. I think it was possible that if I got stinky breath and then I got hit right after there, I just died, but here we are with the mages. They all do like a chant and then heal me to full health. And this is the very last bit, and it should be over in just a second. Very cool that you can web the boss, by the way. Big fan of that. I don't know that it actually does anything, but there we are. Fairly easy, fairly simple. And I don't know, I just expected a lot more misery from him. But I was alright. LeBron reportedly yet again forgot to do commentary while doing the thing, but the build is actually the exact same as what I used during the campaign completion a while back with one player, except this time I just used a bunch of Wistens and stuff. Just whatever Wistens and mushroom pits. I don't think I used any lightning towers or anything like that, but I was surprised by this. The Goblin battlecruiser, not that hard. Maybe it's because the little wizard pet is just, you know, destroying everything in 3 hits, but we have enough damage, and every time I had to jump back, like this was the closest we got to dying, was that jump right there. It wasn't that bad. And let me speed it up a little bit here because I want to show you guys the entire fight, but I want to show you guys the boring parts of the fight where I'm just sitting basically completely AFK. But, you know, a few of our heroes died here and there, but I had the monk as the main character for big DPS, and he did his job just fine. But I also had in the background my initiate set up with like a pixie or something. Just in case my monk died, I had her set up with a DPS pet or a DPS set of some kind, just in case. I would recommend having, you know, a secondary emergency character because sometimes the bullshit just happens. But on this run, nah, it was just clean. It was just very, very clean. I can't say that it's gonna always go like that because at the end of the day, it does. I mean, I won't say it feels like RNG, but it really just kind of feels like RNG sometimes. I don't know. Sometimes you just have a bad day and for whatever reason you just fall in the void or you don't hear the noise of the platform saying, hey, get off or I'm gonna kill you. Whatever it is, you just end up having a bad day and you die. But today was not a bad day. Today was a pretty good day. I think all of the Lost Eternia Shards quests, I did all of them in like one day. That's the crazy part. Like, it was a fairly lax and chill recording session. And honestly, I kind of didn't feel like this video was worthy of existing just on its own with this stuff and what you're about to see, but it ended up being like 2.5 hours. So, you know, it's an episode. But yeah, that's the entire boss. Pretty easy, pretty simple, and slickly landed on top of there. Definitely didn't fall my death. Yippee! That one wasn't too bad. I actually assumed that would be way worse, which is why I brought in a apprentice with the Gucci gear, this bad girl. But turns out we didn't need her. A lot less DPS from the enemies than I expected. Anyways, let's see. Staff of Phone. Apparently this is actually a pretty good DPS weapon, so that's neat. Then we got... Oh! That's cool. An ultimate plus Steam Saw. Steam Saw. A bit lacking in the upgrades, but what can you do? Where is... Just like the first time. A crummy Monk Wrench. And here it is. A Strike. This thing actually gives you a speed boost, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it's really cool. And then armor, I guess. But that's cool. Big boy mode time. Crystalline Dimension. This map... I'm not a fan of it, alright? I gotta admit that right now. I'm not a big fan. There's just a lot that's wrong with it. Well, maybe not wrong with it. That's bad. That's bad wording. It's not wrong. It's just I don't like it. So therefore it's wrong because I own the video game. And everybody should think exactly like me, of course. But the thing is, it's a very long map. Even if you don't, like, you know, even if you have crazy stats, you can do all the good stuff. It's still a pretty long map. No matter how you cut it, pretty much. It's just going to take a while. And that would be fine. I'll say this. It would be fine if it wasn't just awful to fight the final boss. A lot of insta-kill things, at least on Ruthless, that I'm not really a fan of. And sure, you could do this on not hardcore, but let's be real, who's doing things not on hardcore? But as far as the, you know, up to the final boss thing, it's actually fairly straightforward. I have a few things that I want to try out, a few builds, basically, but to the best of my knowledge, there's actually not a lot of things to worry about until the, up until the final boss. The builds are just kind of annoying, they just take a while, as do the waves, at least with the ones that I'm using. But other than that, I mean, it's fine. We need to do this map approximately 4 times, and by approximately, I mean exactly, because I'm never going to do it again, to unlock all of the legendary hero skins for every character. So we'll be doing that, but once we're done with that, then that's it. I'm not going to be coming back here. And honestly, I probably won't use the super legendary whatever skins, the 1.2 times damage multiplier skins. I probably won't use them until, like, I don't know, we really need to or something. I really like having my movement, and I also think that the monk with his cool jump is, like, really, really cool. I like that one a lot. So not having those would kind of suck, and for the sake of, you know, being cool, I'm going to do my best to not use those skins until I need them. Or maybe if I'm doing, like, an intense grind session on a certain map or something. Although, I guess that's actually pretty nice for people who are watching, you guys. Because it means that, you know, if I can do it without the super mega powerful skin that does 1.2 times damage multiplier, then, I mean, you guys should be able to do it with, like, whatever, really. Anyways, this first part... Oh, I don't have the right pet equipped. This first part is kind of rough. Not cool. Not very fun. You really have to babysit your crystals a lot, because you need them to get upgraded. I would personally highly, highly, highly recommend being on the monk. If you're on the monk, it's just a lot easier, because the evil anti-hero you're going to get if you're on the monk is a monk. And these guys don't do any damage, like, at all. And, like, the most that they might do is distract your towers for, like, a second. But that's really it. They're, like, seriously, these guys are kind of chumps. More than anything, they're just free mana. But just go around trying to, you know, keep your towers up to the best of your ability. Tower boosting, hero boost swapping. But as long as you're doing my build, at least for this first part, it should be fairly consistent and fairly easy. Just, you know, make sure that you're running around. I would also say it is a pretty good idea if you're going to be doing this map to just find like a sweaty man build. And by that I mean just, you know, go on the DD planner or use Theo's build, because listen, these builds aren't super well thought out by me. They're just ones that I found worked, and I just stuck with it because I don't really want to put more thought into this map than I have to. They're consistent enough for me because I'm only doing this map like 4 times. But if you're really going to be grinding this map, then probably not the best idea to follow along with my builds. Very important though, because as you can see, I mean, a lot of our towers are getting pummeled. I would recommend upgrading your Nature's Pylons once you have your buff beams upgraded, because that way you can kind of just ignore the towers for longer and they can get pummeled for longer. But frankly speaking, at least in this middle area, or any one of the given crystals really, as long as you're keeping yourself relatively, you know, on track and you're damaging the enemies, what are you doing, sir? You shouldn't have any issues even without some towers. Like, you can totally, completely defend a crystal all on your own. Although I would still recommend a forest golem. The forest golems are so nice, man. Now that we're on the second wave, I'm actually going to do something very strange. Just because this map is very long, and also Theo did it, and I think it's a good idea. We're going to go ahead and pick up a whole bunch of mana as we go through, because that means that we don't have to keep dropping our mana and picking up mana. You know, normally we wouldn't do this a lot for maps. For the sake of my mental health, I'm going to go ahead and pick up mana on pretty much all the characters and fill them up before we get into the next stages for any given map. Especially Part 4. Part 4 is really bad. Well, sort of. But not really. But, like, sort of. Oh, and obviously, as you can see, there is a timer at the top of the screen, so I would recommend keeping it a little bit fast, but let's be real. 90 minutes is so long. If you don't have the ability to do this in 90 minutes... give up, dog. Go grind some stats. You should be able to do this map in 90 minutes. Anybody should be able to do this map in 90 minutes if they have, like, I don't know, 4K stats. But I would advise you, when you're placing your towers, no matter what build you're doing, make sure that they're not within this inner circle that each of these crystals have. Because if they're within that inner circle, or sometimes I've noticed with specifically this one over here, if they're close enough to it, like this one might be a little too close, ogres, because they have such a wide swing arc, like, if one is standing over here, I think we'll be fine, but if they're standing, like, on this ring, they can swing and hit the crystal and your towers at the same time. And obviously, because they're in a weakened aura and all that, it won't really mean, like, you know, the end of the world, but it will, you know, it will kind of suck. And if it happens multiple times in a row, it's kind of over. So, best practice is to just play it safe. Also, you only have a limited amount of lives, which sucks big balls and is really annoying, but just... don't jump off the map, and you'll be fine. The life limitation really doesn't matter when you're on, you know, Ruthless. When you're on Hardcore, at the end of the day, it's just gonna suck no matter how you cut it. Now then, before we go into the second map, I'm gonna go ahead and swap to my Huntress. And the second map, I might be trying out a new build here, but I've seen what a lot of people do on this map, and I think it's a little unnecessary. Although I guess what I'm doing is also going to be a little unnecessary. Basically, place your auras roughly in the same spots as I am. It is fairly important that you place them like that, at least with my stats. If you have 8k stats, the placement is really, you know, you can kind of get away with anything, but at least with my stats, you can't. So you got to kind of pay attention and give a shit. But we're going to be placing an electric aura and the other 3 at each crystal. I would recommend, by the way, I've not been doing this at all because I'm stupid, use the portal system. The portal systems are actually... fairly helpful. They're not fairly helpful, they're very helpful. So if you can, you know, just to save yourself a bit of time, use the portals. Although it's certainly not necessary. But you can see where I'm placing my auras. They're basically in front of the crystals, kind of facing all of them towards the middle side of the map. And I ran past the swap character area. Now we're going to go ahead and go to our EV. And we're going to place our buff beams pretty far forward. Again, outside the inner circle, but I'm going to do it something like this. That should do just about fine. Yeah, that'll do fine. And we're going to do that for every crystal. Hold on. Let me, before I forget, because I'm yapping, I always get so distracted. go over here, and we're going to place a buff beam something like that. And then from this one, you run to the top one, and then you take the purple portal, and then you go back to the Defender Forge. It's kind of like a pattern. You just got to get used to it. Same thing over here, from yay to yay. And then purple portal, and our last buff beam. Then we can go ahead and swap. So yay to yay. There we go. Now then, let's swap to our Huntress, because gas trap time. I don't know. I think Theo actually also used gas traps in his build for this map, but I don't have as high stats as Theo, so not only do I have to use gas traps, I also, regrettably, I do in fact have to also move them on my Jester. Which, if you have high enough stats, like I've tested this with 8k stats, you don't really have to do that, but I don't have those stats, so I can't do that. I did come up with a fairly unique build for this a while ago, because I heard an offhanded comment that was made by Theo, where he said, it seems like on this map, all of the enemies aggro onto wherever you are more than anything else. Which made me think, wait a minute, I bet we can abuse that. And no, yeah, we can. Because if every enemy on the map is going to aggro to where you are, then you can just basically leave enough stuff at the auras, or I guess at the crystals, to deal with like the majority of mobs. You know, just an electric aura and a gas trap. And then for the rest of everything else, you can just go ahead and deal with it yourself. Basically by just placing a stack of auras. I would recommend directly in the middle. Lightning towers, or not lightning towers. Well, if you have the stats for lightning towers, then yeah. But like Wistens and Shroom Pits and Forest Golem, all that business, you could just place all of that and call it a day. But unfortunately, I don't really have the stats to be able to do that, at least not easily, so I can't. But I know you guys out there, you guys probably do. There we are, there we are. I mean, you can already see what I'm doing. It's a very basic, just Golem plus Nature Pylon. The Nature Pylons are just there to make the Golem more tanky. That's the only purpose that they serve. And you'll see, I have a lot of DU left over, even after doing all this. You could do whatever you want with that DU. Place like I don't know, oil traps everywhere, or fire traps, or whatever you want to do. For me, I'm just going to use it for nothing, and I'll leave it up to you guys. Also, we have minion units and all that. Basically what I'm saying is that if you took a bit more time, you could certainly do this map with lesser stats. Now then, let's swap over to our Jester. Very, very important to make sure on your Jester that you have negative tower range, especially on this map. Kind of sucks, but you can't place any gas traps in this inner circle. It's annoying. But for these two, for these two crystals, this one down here and this one with the legendary monk up top, you don't need to move the gas traps very far back. But for the ones over here, abso-fucking-lutely, you have to move this shit to the center, the best of your ability, because you need it to cover as much area as possible. But for these areas where you have the top and bottom crystal, you don't need to move them far back at all. In fact, the testing that I have done, you don't need to move them far back at all. I'm mostly doing it just because, why not, really? But other than that, just try and make sure that you have each area up to either like 4 chevrons, 4 upgrades, or a star if you can, and you'll be fine. And I was not supposed to teleport through there. You know, Theo was saying that he kind of hates this map because it's just so big, and I didn't really understand, because I'm like, you know, it's big, but it's, you know, it's fine, it's chill. No, I agree. After having failed on the old one a couple of times, 3 or 2 times in a row at this point, and each attempt is like 40 minutes, at least with my stats. No, I agree. It is quite a grind. It is quite a grind to run around this area so much. It's very, very annoying. I prefer not to, but, you know, obviously I have to. You know, I just realized I'm actually going to have to link basically every build that I'm using here in the, in the comments, because I am using builds from other people for the most part. This one is not a build from anyone else, I will say. This is the only one where I won't have to link anything. But a lot of my other builds are for sure taken from people who are less lazy than me. Actually, no, wait. No, now that I'm thinking about it, the only map build thing that I copied off of somebody was the very last one. That's it. Every other build here. Oh god, what are we getting hit by? Was that over here? I bet that was over there. Yeah. That area, I don't know. It really depends on how you place your gas traps and the like, but if you have large enough stats for your gas traps, that won't be an issue. But as you can obviously see, I don't. So I need to make sure that that area has another upgrade on its buff beam before I can really call it a day. But there we are. Now this area should be fine, as should every other area. Of course, once we give them the stars. If you're wondering why I'm not placing any, like, Warden Towers, like, we have a lot of BU, you know, why don't you place a Warden Tower? I just don't really trust them to survive. Like, look at what's going on down there. The absolute smorgasbord of just enemy slop. And yet my Forest Golems, they do not give a shit. Look at this. Gone for this long, getting hit by 4 ogres at once. Web. All this business, half health. Half health, and I haven't even upgraded neither the golems nor the forest pylons. All that is to say, you can just kind of get away with a lot. Alternatively, you can also just base everything in the middle of the map, like over here-ish on the side, and call it a day there, but eh. The reason you can get away with this, by the way, is because the ogres, these guys who can actually hit your crystal, they don't appear from behind the crystal, meaning as long as you put something in front of it, like these forest golems, they can't reach far enough to hit the crystal. And sure, the sky ogres can, but the sky ogres, you know, they can't damage the crystal anyways. But I'm just going to go ahead and max out these pylons. And I think, yeah, we should be done very soon. We just have, oh, this guy left over. Where are you, sir? Strange, why is my... Wow, that was a lot of lightnings in a row. Seems like a lot of enemies do pile up on the top and bottom crystals, though, so I am going to try and max out their buff beams. Buff beams? Pylons as fast as I can. Also, if you're wondering how I'm cycling between which building to upgrade so I can specifically target the nature pylon, if you press the plus and minus keys on your keyboard, you can cycle between things. Same with upgrading, repairing, pretty much any kind of selecting a tower. Also selling. Unfortunately, the auras do get a bit low, so maybe it's worth giving those like 1 or 2 upgrades as well. But I mean, I don't know. We're still doing perfectly fine, so I don't really see it as much of an issue. The ogres will pile up, the regular enemies will die no matter what. So, at the end of the day, even if it is a bit slower at times, as long as you have a decent-ish amount of aura HP, you should never die. Also true for your Nature's Golem. But like, look at this. These guys are perfectly fine. And if I'm to teleport over here, hello sir, and go down here, we will yet again witness these guys aren't even damaged. Like, those nature pylons really do make a difference, huh? A couple of spiders with their webs would kind of be big here, now that I think about it. I guess you'd have to place mages with them, but the spiders, you know, the double damage is double damage. It's pretty good. But either way, it looks like we have just a couple of mobs left over there, and once they get sniped out of the air by our golems, there we go. Alright, next area. I'm gonna be honest, I think this might be my least favorite area overall, because I remember one time an archer snuck up to this top crystal and beat the shite out of it, but that doesn't happen very frequently, so surely it won't happen again. But same thing as before, place your auras kind of in front of the crystals. I guess if you're going counterclockwise the way I am, in front. But once you have your auras placed down, once you have your gas traps placed down, it really just boils down to you being active in the video game, moving around and the like. I guess actually, now that I think about it, you could, in theory, do this section without, whatchamacallit? You could do this section perfectly fine without any warden towers. And I'm tempted to try it out. Yeah, you know what? Screw it. Terrible idea, but let's try out this section. No, hold on. I just thought about it. To try it out without warden towers, I'd have to go on my my jester and move all the gas traps, and I'm not interested in doing that. Now then, let's go ahead and move to our EV. And basically, there's a bunch of stairs going up to each crystal. It's like this one over here. We're going to place all of our towers in front of those stairs. Now, you might be saying, what about the stairs behind the crystal? Shut up. Quick thing about this specific crystal, I have at one point noticed, despite there being a gas trap, a Sharkin just whizzing straight through my warden towers. So, you know, maybe place your gas trap a little bit farther forward on that one. But just keep up the same pace of placing your buff beams a good bit outside the inner circle, and you will be a-okay. I don't remember which one, but I know one of these 4 crystals... Hold on, let me hide the enemy counts. I know one of these 4 crystals gets a disproportionate amount of enemies compared to the other ones. So that's definitely something worth keeping an eye out for. And I'm just going to assume like it's the bottom right one, sure. Because I don't really remember, but I know it's one of them. And on that crystal, we're going to add a little bit more in terms of defenses compared to the other crystals. Although, frankly speaking, once you have everything upgraded to 3 stars, buff beam-wise, I mean, you shouldn't really have anything to worry about. Especially if you can upgrade the pylons to 3 stars as well. Like, I don't really see any of your towers going down. Although, that's not to say that you can fully AFK it. You most certainly can't. Not with my stats, not with my build. But, you know, you'll have a lot of time to run around and get whatever you want. Now then, let's go to... Oh, looks like I forgot to pack mana on this guy beforehand. I will need to make absolutely sure that this guy is filled up on mana, and pretty much all of our other characters are filled up on mana before the next section, because next section is a boss rush. You kind of need mana for that. Anyways, in front over here, place a forest golem, and then a nature pylon, I don't know, somewhere. And then do the same for each of these. Place a forest golem and a nature pylon. Forest golem, nature pylon. And the last spot of over here, a forest golem and a nature pylon. And there we go. Now we can just go ahead and go on to our warden. And if I remember correctly, for all but one of these spots, we're just going to place down a wisp den. And then for one of the spots, we're placing down 2 wisp dens and a shroom pit. Wisp den there. Wisp den here. And that's the left side crystals. Now the right side crystal. Just one more wisp den, and there we are. And lastly, of course, over here, 2 wisp dens and a shroom pit. There we go. And you'll notice that you have 3 DU left over to do with as you please. Now, you can do anything you want with this 3 DU. What I personally like to do is I place right here a Angry Blossom facing towards the crystal. You might think this is for like emergencies in case something goes wrong. Yes, but it's actually just to scare me in the middle of the wave when it gets taken down by spiders, because that always happens. But for now, just make sure each of these is upgraded to like 4 chevrons or a star, up to you, and then call it a day. Hey there, it's me from the future, and I want to recommend that you guys place down a wall of archers to the top crystal, because it's pretty unlikely, but it's possible that a single enemy will get through your towers, and if it's a goblin or an archer, you'll have enough time to react, but if it's an orc, you're probably boned. And at the end of the day, it's fairly fast to place down these minions, especially if you just drop the mana on your warden. So, kind of why not? It just adds extra security. Alternatively, of course, if you don't want to do that, you could just find a better build, because mine is certainly not the best. But anyways, back to your regularly scheduled programming. And there we are. Alright, Control G and pray for the best. Try and chase down the ogres as they spawn. Well, relatively speaking, the big ogres are the ones that matter. Basically anything that'll distract your towers, and also mainly because the ogres just give you a lot of mana when you kill them. You need mana to upgrade all your stuff. Funnily enough, though, if you place your gas traps as far forward as I did, you'll notice that the enemies just constantly get stuck. Meaning that the ogres, they don't get the chance to make it to your crystal. And on top of that, it's really nice because you'll notice these wyverns coming in, they don't get to make it through the middle area, because I'm pretty sure they're pretty much all aiming for your middle crystal. They don't get to make it that far because since your wisp dens are not super distracted, they can, take their sweet time when it comes to killing the necessary mobs. Also, as you can see, this build is not exactly perfect. Okay, it looks like that bottom right area is perfectly fine, so maybe it's the bottom left area I was thinking of. I don't know, it's one of them, alright? By the way, it says final wave, boss wave. Not a boss wave. There's no bosses here until the next part, and also the final boss, so you don't gotta worry about that. I don't know why they have that warning, by the way. Very strange that it's still in the game. I guess it's more effort to patch out than it would be worth, because, at the end of the day, you do the map once and you realize, oh, there's no boss. Fair warning, by the way, the kobolds here, basically anything that's outside of a weakened aura, they do deal quite a lot of damage, so you can't, just sit there and tank everything. With the exception of the evil monk. The evil monk does 0 damage. I'm a big fan of that. But yeah, maybe I can display it now. The overhead wyverns. Where are they? Yeah, look at these guys. They can potentially make it over your towers, but as long as stuff is being held back, like as it is over there by the gas traps, they won't. Also, if your auras are big enough, apparently they can just take them out themselves. But that's, you might not have big enough auras for that. Okay, this is the struggle bus area. This is the area that needs like at least a shroom pit. Cool. Now before you go to the next part, number one, make sure you know what you're going to be building, and number two, also make sure that you have full mana on your characters. Me, my build is very Warden heavy, so I'm going to make sure that he has full mana, but frankly speaking, make sure that all of your characters have full mana. Or at least all the characters you're going to be building with. I won't be doing anything, or not Warden, sorry, my Hermit. God, I always confuse it. I will never remember the names of these characters. To me, they both like released at the same time, even though obviously they didn't, but in my brain, they did. Anyways, I have a good enough amount of mana now. Part 4. This is kind of a weird boss rush, and it requires heavily that you have good player DPS. We'll place down a stack of auras as I have there, go onto your EV, and place down, I would recommend 5D or 4DU, but you can do 5DUs if you want. Buff beams like so. Just make sure that one of them is inside the auras. And there we go. Again, place them fairly far away from the crystal. And then we're going to go onto our Hermit, and we're going to place down a Forest Golem and another Forest Golem at every single one. Spaced out pretty evenly at each buff beam's end. Like that. And like that. There we go. Now, we are going to place some more Nature's Pylons on him later, but for the moment, we need to make sure that on top of the Defender Forge area-ish, that's not good. It needs to be boosted by the... There we go. Make sure that these are being boosted by the buff beams, but then place down a couple of gas traps. Then we have, with the leftover DU, I'm going to place down a couple of Nature Pylons. I only have enough for 2, so that'll have to do. Now let's go on to our, whatchamacallit, this guy, and upgrade these to at least roughly a bit of, a chevron. 3 chevrons is good. And more than likely, 1 stack of these guys will go down, so just keep that in mind. But once you have them upgraded that much, you can upgrade them more, but I would personally recommend to save your mana on your monk, because you're going to need it. So, be ready to hero boost, not really tower boost, and to deal with these bad boys as soon as you can. Oh wow, we already lost one? How did that happen? Normally you don't lose one that fast, but I suppose this time I was chosen to lose one. Keep an eye out for these guys, because when they drop down, I think they can potentially one-tap you and or your towers. So just keep an eye on them, but I mean, I don't know, we seem to be doing fine. There we go. Now, if you want, upgrade your one of your buffings to maximum so that your auras are max size. And then try running around and making sure that you get the dragon down as soon as possible. There we go. Yeah, headshot. Nice. Now, I wouldn't recommend going on the dragon until you have your hero boost up again, but when it comes to going on the dragon, if he does his fire attack, which he has like a really long wind-up for doing, back the hell up. You don't want to deal with that fire attack. Also, his fireballs deal quite a lot of damage to your towers, so just keep that in mind. But anyways, go ahead, hero boost. His chomp is also not that bad, by the way, so if you see the chomp, don't be too afraid. There's the chomp. Does about a quarter of my health. Not too bad. And there we go. Whew. Alright, this next part is going to be really rough. For me, it's rough for me. For you guys, it shouldn't be, but I'm going to be doing this on 4-player difficulty. Just once, but I'm going to do it. What I'm going to be bringing in for this is, you could do it with the Little Wizard just fine, but I'm going to bring in my Ethereal Ancient. This one isn't anything particularly amazing, it just works. And for the extra characters, because they don't really matter, I'm just going to bring in one of every kind. And one melee character, and there we go. And in the future, to unlock all the super legendary skins, I will do this yet again on, well, 1-player difficulty, but on each of the individual characters. But for now, I'm going to do it with the monk with 4-player, just to get it out of the way. And listen, I'm not going to be talking myself during this boss fight because it's just very hard. I would recommend go on to local, go get the CD old one practice thing. There'll be a bunch of like error warning pop-ups when you load it up. Ignore them. Do that a whole bunch of times. I'd recommend it until you can do it at least 3 or 4 times in a row without any issue, and then practice. Sometimes it will just kind of be RNG, so just keep that in mind. Also, you can change your reward system. I don't know what this does. The wiki doesn't say what this does, but let's get into it. I highly recommend zooming out all the way.
Having vanquished the nightmares before them and freed their parents from Crystalline.
I'm not watching this. Time for the big bad, and strap in because this is going to be a long one. I'm going to do my best to explain what you should do in all the phases while trying to keep it all in one take. But basically, you see all those crystals? You got to get all of those crystals. Starting out with his feet. If you have an Ethereal Ancient Pet, you kind of can just ignore the enemies, but you see that Fireball attack? There's kind of a rhythm to this. He'll do a Fireball attack periodically, and then he'll do a different attack. It can be either summoning minions, throwing down meteors, or I think he can also do a foot slam. But it's very rare that he'll do something like 2 fireballs or 2 foot slams or 2 whatever really in a row. The most that you'll ever see frequently is like he'll summon meteors, and he'll also at the same time, or right afterwards, he will he'll summon meteors and he'll summon enemies. But generally he won't do 2 foot slams or 2 fireballs. But it is very frequent to see him do a foot slam and then a fireball, or a fireball and then a foot slam. I would highly advise just stay away from the middle, and you should be fine as long as you keep up with that. But once you're rising up, stay in the middle and get ready to dodge his double hammer slam. Looks like he didn't do it this time, but it's fine. Whenever he slams his hand down, just walk away from it. It is actually a lot of time that he gives you to realize what's happening. Green lasers here, by the way, from the middle chest. Be careful of those. Those will whoop your ass. The green lasers are very bad. When it comes to the meteors, as long as they're not in really bad locations, you'll probably be fine. And you see that little fireballs that he launched? It homes in on you for a while, but not forever. So just try your best to dodge it, kind of going in a circling motion, and you can do a little jump at the end if you got the timing down perfectly. But when it comes to the middle laser, as long as it's not a green one, you can just tank the shit out of it. Like, it does not do anything. And he also has this thing where he summons the minions and his crystals are vulnerable, so that's a really good DPS phase there. But if you're standing in like the middle area where I always am, it's far more likely than not that if he's going to do a slam attack with his hands, it'll either be a double hand slam or he'll do his right hand or on your screen left hand slam. But once you get a crystal down, which I think we're going to get sometime relatively soon, he does a little animation of recoiling and he like cancels whatever he's currently doing. Okay, now we're focusing on the right hand. I would recommend splitting up your damage. He doesn't get any harder if you get one of the hands down or a crystal down, but all that really changes is, you know, you just can't damage that area anymore. But he can still do a hand slam with that area, or like belly laser, whatever it is. He can still do all of that stuff. Right now, I think we're gonna get some really bad meteors in the middle. Yeah, we've got a right hand slam, so it's not super bad. We're trying to conserve the mana to the best of our ability. You do passively get like 75 mana every couple of seconds as a bit like a stimulus check, but it's not consistent. Double hand slam. Try and stay in the middle for that double hand slam. Even if you're not in the middle area, you don't need to like rush in there immediately. You just need to make sure that after you jump over that wave, you try and make sure you land in the middle, because that's like the safest spot. The hitboxes on those slams, they're all pretty deceiving, at least I have found. If you're on a ranged character like I am with a monk, you can hit his hands while he's summoning the minions. And I think right here we're going to get like really... Yeah, we got some pretty... no, I was going to say we got some really fucked fires. Instead, we just got his left hand. I know later on we get some really bad fires. These are fairly bad towards the back, but in the middle, which is where we're sitting most of the time, it isn't that bad. There's the right hand slam. I'm actually trying to bait out his right hand slam by staying on his right hand. And we did that successfully. You can see we have full mana going into the head phase, and as far as the head phase goes, I recommend just stay in the middle and see what he does, and then go in for like the big DPS. I was doing this pretty early, so I wasn't used to it, but double hand slam, jump over, and then after he does that, you stay close, and he'll do one of many moves, but very frequently he'll do this right here, where he pulls you in. Do not do the jump I did there. You do not have good air momentum control, but just stay close to him, and be ready for the swipe attack. That's pretty much the main thing you gotta worry about. This right here, this can have some bullshit, so stay on the left side for that attack, because if you trigger a phase change like I did right there, while he's in the middle of that attack, he'll just spit that all over the arena, and particularly over the right side. Now we're back on the feet. We're gonna do basically 3 phases of feet, middle segment, and the head. The stomp we just got, meaning we're gonna get probably a fireball or summoning minions or something afterwards. We got summoning minions, And there's a fireball. Those fireballs, by the way, they leave like lingering fires, which are really bad. Try your best to avoid them. I'm not really, explaining this super well, but every time I see like a fireball going to the area where I'm going to be going to, I try and leave, except here where I just got royally screwed. You generally don't want to be in the middle area because like if he does a single foot stomp, like what he did right there, it's not that bad. But if he does a double foot stomp, it's a fairly fast animation and it's kind of hard to dodge. But now he's refreshing his meteors, and this time they are in far more forgiving positions, meaning I can just get right next to his leg here, dodge the fireball, and go to his other leg, and he's going to do a foot stomp. If it's a single foot stomp, you don't really need to jump or anything like that. Just make sure you're not in its way. If it's a double foot stomp, just time your jumps a little bit. Again, I highly recommend the practicer, but pretty soon here, double jump, or double foot stomp, dodge it, and we will get both of his legs down in just a second here. You might notice, I'm not talking about the enemies. That's because the Etherean Ancient, it just deals with the enemies for you. By the way, the platform, when it rises, at the very back of the platform, it gets left behind a little bit, so you do have to kind of stay in the center. But speaking of staying in the center, back in the middle phase and stay in the center, you'll notice my pet is actually hitting both sides of the hands some of the times. I'm pretty sure that's just because it's a large pet. Not every pet will be able to do that in terms of melee pets, but the large pets, they can handle it pretty well. Also, when it does the green middle laser, I try to get back to the middle for this exact reason right here. I don't really know how to deal with the hand slam attack, the double hand slam, if you're on the left or if you're on the right side. I know how to deal with it if you're on the middle, but I'm going to be honest, if he laid like a wall of fireballs or meteors in the middle area, like straight down, I don't know that I could really handle that, but that's so incredibly unlikely that I wouldn't be too afraid of it. I should also mention, we're on 4-player HP scaling, which is why this is taking so long. I also don't have, particularly great things. My pet is actually pretty damn mediocre, all things considered. But if this was on 1-player HP scaling, it'd have a quarter health, and I think we would have been done by now. It's a lot easier because there's a lot less RNG to deal with. At least, that's the way that I think about it. But every time that you see a blue laser from the middle, go deep for DPS because it's just absolutely free. Just be ready for a double hand slam attack right afterwards. But you can kind of see with the double hand slams, he tries to kind of stay where you are. So if you're close to him, he'll have the hand slam a bit closer to you. And if he's not close to you, he'll have it slam a bit farther away. Or if you're not close to him, I should say. But there's only a certain distance, and I think I display that, or I get a chance to show that off later in this fight. But yeah, just keep focused on dodging over everything except for the green, except for the basic blue lasers. That doesn't matter. The enemies, you can ignore them completely because while they do a little bit of chip damage, 1, your pet deals them perfectly fine, and 2, this specific pet, it heals you every time that you damage the enemies or kill the enemies. I don't think it heals you when you hit his crystals with the pet, but it heals you when you damage the enemies, and that's more than enough for literally all of the heroes. I use this pet for all of the old 1 attempts that I have done on all 4 heroes. So even though Monk has his passive healing from his hero boost, you don't really need it. By the way, you might notice that I let the hero boost down for a little bit there. That's because I want to make absolutely sure that for the head phase, because I find it to be by far the most dangerous, I want to make sure that I have a hero boost completely ready for the head phase in case, I don't know, for whatever reason, I need to stay dodging for a long time. I would also recommend, you see where I did there, where I went in on the hand summon, at least on the monk, getting in that close is really dangerous. I kind of wouldn't recommend it. But I was hoping we get the hand down there, which is why I started my hero boost, but we couldn't. Thankfully, we got this right after, and I still couldn't get the hand down. Yeah, is this where we get the really fucked fires in the middle? It might be. Yeah, no, that's really bad. When you're tanking the laser, your screen will just turn completely red, so it'll be kind of hard to tell whether or not you're dodging, whether or not you're getting hit by the fires or not. At least in the moment it is. Obviously when you're just watching back the recording, it's not. Right there, you saw me just tank a ton of the fires because I was flustered by everything going on in the middle. I was terrified of a double hand slam because that would force me to go in the middle. And because of that, we ended up in a bit of a pickle. We couldn't get his hand down in time, except for right now, where we finally got it. And now we're on to the second head phase, and still doing the stupid thing of going in immediately, but there we are. Don't do that jump. Seriously, don't do that jump. And now he's probably going to do something stupid. Yep, single hand slam, extremely easy to dodge. very nice. If you want to get extra damage for that, actually you can just go ahead and jump, and then your pet will be able to reach. Otherwise, this melee pet with its size, it can't quite reach. But dodging the fireballs, doing the very basic stuff. He was actually going for another swipe there, but we phase changed him before he could. I think he's going to start out with a fireball here. Yep. He pretty much always starts out with a fireball in his legs phase. And then into that, we go into a double stomp. And now I know he's not going to double stomp. He's not going to do anything. At most, he summons minions. And then here, it's going to be either a stomp, fireball, or summoning minions slash fire meteors. God, I always confuse the meteors and the fireballs. I would really recommend just keeping a couple of positions that you have sort of memorized when it comes to the double foot slams, because I really, the hitboxes, they're just very deceiving, especially for like a first timer. Again, I highly recommend, because this takes so long to get to and it's so nervous the first time you're going to be going through it, do the practicer on the workshop. The current one is a little bit buggy, but you know, it's the best that we got. And that's it for the last legs phase. Watch out for those fires, by the way. Even though your platform is rising, those fires are still there, and they'll hit you. They have a pretty decent vertical range. Double hand slam is a blessing because, God, look at that pet DPS. It's so nice. Unfortunately, I didn't have my hero boost going because I canceled it earlier, but we're still doing perfectly fine. There's a meteor directly in the middle, which is Fuckage Town, USA. That really cut me off. I'm not a fan of that. In fact, this is probably around the point where we're going to see the super screwed up middle area. Either that or it's in one of the other runs. I don't know. I've done those 4 times. And while the other 3 attempts were not on, like, you know, 4-player difficulty, they were on significantly worse characters. Primarily by choice, I will mention that. On the other characters, I did not do this particularly well. I had some of the worst equipment, but I mean, if I can do it with some of the worst equipment, you guys can probably do it, you know, with decent equipment. Oh, by the way, speaking of that fireball that kind of homes in on you that he shoots in the second phase here, it does a lot of damage. Even if it splashes you, it does a lot of damage. But if it hits you, oh boy, you are in a world of pain. It is real bad. But I mean, you can tell, because of my pet, I don't really have to worry about healing all that much. As long as I don't get hit by a fireball or I don't sit in the fire pits for very long, I don't really get low enough to where I have to think about using my actual heal. I also have a fair amount of HP, but listen, I did this on much less HP on the Initiate, which is to say, you don't need this much HP. I think you could get by with like 100k HP perfectly fine on this boss. Are there not going to be any fucked fireball? I swear to God, I know we got that one earlier, but I swear there was one that was even worse. I just can't remember. Very annoying, by the way, when he does this, where his middle center beam is, you know, or his middle center crystal is gone, yet he still decides to go in and use the beam. Very annoying. By the way, right there, I kind of skipped over it, but we got a double hand slam where I wasn't directly in the middle. There, I jumped towards the middle area, and that's kind of what saved me. This time it wasn't that bad, but I know in future attempts, probably a couple of attempts where I failed, it's been really bad. I will quickly mention, though, if you just get this down, you just practice it a ton, it doesn't really matter what you're doing it with, as long as the parameters are consistent. And the only parameters that need to be consistent are enemies. Not the big boss, but just the other enemies. As long as you can keep the other enemies off your back, which this pet does perfectly fine, then I'm confident you can do this 100 times out of 100 very easily.
Channeling dark energy.
Oh, my heartbeat's beating so fast. My shoulders very hot for some reason. I don't know why that happens with me, but oh, sorry. This is not my first attempt, as you may be able to tell from the voice panic that I'm having. This is, I think, my 3rd or 4th attempt, which doesn't sound that bad until you realize it's like 50 minutes or 40 minutes, you know, with my build, to get to this point. And oh, but you guys probably noticed, but there's a good amount of post commentary there. It's very difficult to do that on your first go. It's, well, if you've never done it before, but once you have it down, with a few rare exceptions of what I will consider the bullshit. Play the clip. What? Oh. It's fairly consistent and easy.
Together with the Knight, Elven Ranger, and Chi Master, the newly revitalized heroes leap into the fray.
Oh, I just realized I'm doing that thing that teachers do where their cursor's in the middle of the screen. Hold on, let me put it directly on top of... Yeah, right there, looks good. I would not recommend doing this with 4 players unless you have like some Gucci shit, by the way. It's just not really worth it. But we did it with 4 players once. We have unlocked the super legendary monk skin, and we got a weapon for each character. And I think we get like 1 extra weapon for each character because we did it on Ruthless. Or 1 type of weapon that's extra. I don't remember. It's the reward system is very weird. I think it just picks 1 character and you get an extra reward per character that you have in for that character. So like I have a monk as my main character, so if it chooses the monk, then we get 4 extra monk weapons. And then also whatever else we would normally get. You also get like a ton of accessories too. I think you get 2 helmet accessories, 2 head accessories, 2 arm accessories, and then 1 face accessory, or 2 face accessories per character. So we're gonna get like, what, for all 4 of our characters we're gonna get, is that 2 per? No, 3 per with 12? Yes. We got a lot. Sorry, I'm very panicked. The dialogue is probably not the best. Also, I'm talking over a cutscene because I'm very shaky. Ugh. But yeah, that final phase is really rough. That head phase, you need to make sure you have enough mana to just like insta it, because actually trying to fight that phase, nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. Anyways, now we have a skin that I will never ever use for our monk. Oh yeah, we got a bunch of achievements too. Hell yeah. Now I gotta go do that again on the Apprentice, which should be pretty easy, on the Huntress, which should be pretty easy, and on the Squire, which should be the easiest. From everything I've heard, the Squire is actually the way I should have done this. But let's look at the rewards that we got. Anything Alt++? Oh! Eternia staff! Oh, and a great sword, that's ultimate. You go into swap outs, you go into swap outs. Alright, let's see. Any good... a couple of Supreme Accessory, that's okay. So it looks like we got the staff this time, which is a bit disappointing. Or unless it's good, in which case... it's alright. I'll keep it. Wow, these actually roll pretty well in stats. Wow, this rolls really well. I think this would be... Hold on, this is probably better than anything that we have. No speed on it, though, which is a bit unfortunate. Eternian Spear. This is the one for the monk. Very cool. Lock that. Great sword. This one is actually a really cool weapon. So you can upgrade its base melee damage, or it has range damage that you can also upgrade. And you get 2 extra projectiles. There's a wide arc with it, but I think it's better to upgrade the range damage than it is the melee base damage. Don't take my word for that. Look it up on the wiki. But let's lock that. This thing for the Huntress. This actually shoots incredibly fast, and it's very cool, but its DPS is fairly lackluster. And that's it, right? Yeah, that's all 4 characters. Alright, let's see. Nothing. It's gonna be awful if we got literally no good accessories from that entire thing. Okay, that's nice. This is a pretty good all-rounder. I'll probably equip this over... Yeah, I'll definitely equip this over whatever I currently have. Ability 2, maybe... Yeah, I don't know. I want to be honest, these are fairly lackluster. Wow. Oh, man, a little bit more tower damage. And I guess for Warden... Is that it? Ability 1 and ability 2. And that's it. Damn. Wow, this is actually really close to being a pretty nice damaging piece. Oh, well. Oh, well. Sell all? Call it a day? Time for a bit of a weird one. No towers allowed unironically gives you some of the best rewards. Well, really good melee weapon rewards. And I'm pretty sure you can AFK it. So, we're gonna find out. To the best of my knowledge, you just need, like, you know, an okay cat, an eyeball, a couple of wizards. That's pretty much it. The rest should really just take care of itself. You just sit here. I don't know. Might be worth getting another eyeball, honestly. Because the other little wizard I have right now isn't really doing much work, but... Here, you know what? I'll give you guys the drone POV. Oh. Looks like I don't have quite enough stats to do that. Suppose I may need to hero boost a little bit. That's a shame. If only I had a character who could hero boost. Thing is, there's only one forest ogre per wave, and that's the only thing we really need to care about. Everything else is just kind of whatever. Ten whole minutes. Just sitting here, AFK. Oh, I just realized I can get a multiplier on my other characters because I can get super legendary monk skins. Look at that. Yippee! Anyways. Let's see. Swap out, and swap out, and swap out. Let's see, we got anything good? No. No, we do not, unfortunately. But you can see, I mean, damage per upgrade is okay, and a lot of upgrades, and you can just AFK it, pretty much, so it's alright. It is perfectly alright. Okay. Alt, alt, alt. Not alt. And it looks like they're kind of a dookie. Yeah, they're kind of dookie. Although this one might... Let's see. No, only 250 upgrades. Oh, that's a shame. But it should be, with 4 players, it should be about a 1 in 5 that we get something that's, you know, 180k base. Which is like, that's enough. For me, that's enough. Ooh. Rough. Yippee! Alright, come on. Got low hopes, considering... Yeah, okay. Yippee! Give me loot now, come on. Oh. God damn it. What the fuck is this loot? Although, unironically, I might keep this one. This one's not that bad. For, like, towers, I think. They don't care that much about HP, right? I only understand how Hermit, or Warden, and Apprentice work for tower stats at this point. Anything melee is fairly foreign to me, but that looks okay. Oh my god, just give me a good weapon! God, you know what? I'm at the point where I might just stick with this. Also, I need to get some more mana. I'm running low. Alright, let's... Oh, that doesn't feel very good. I guess they're both... I mean, it's better than the other one, but damn. It's okay. I'm watching Invincible on the side right now, so I'm like... I'm big time chilling. I'm just popping in every couple of seconds, not even looking at my screen, picking up some mana, continuing as normal. Okay, please, can we get something that's like at least an alt plus? No. No, we cannot. Best I can do, 300 upgrade. Whoa! Ah! You know what? That's probably better than anything we're going to find, period. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? Yeah. Oh! Oh my god, it's actually, well, a bit like, no, you know what? What am I complaining for? 85k, ability 1, ability 2, damage, hero HP. I'm being a Debbie Downer. That is a perfectly good weapon. I didn't even record this one. Not to worry, because I got nothing. Motherfucker. I know his drop rates are low, but they're not this low. Oh, Ability 2 is a bit lacking. Hero damage is, at least it's positive. The base damage is just so low. But 185. I'm gonna try these out. I've been grinding this for a long while, and now I'm not really sure what to do. But the only reason I'm farming these is to do the old one. So if we could do pretty decent DPS, then I'll be happy. By the way, we're doing the old one on Barbarian with a melee weapon that has no range. So this is going to be interesting. The worst looking barb known to man. Wow, our stats are incredibly low. Might be because I'm lacking in, you know, every way. Let's see. Not that good, but to be fair, our armor is very, very underdeveloped. Oh wow, it's lacking ability 2 here. Yeah, okay. I'll probably be fine. So this time it's just going to be one player difficulty, but we are going to be doing it with one of the worst barbarians known to man. So here's a rundown for how you want to do this. Keep in mind, your Hawk stance, Hawk Tua. Alright, this is your big move. At least with me, I deal about 74 million damage a hit. So basically, you just want to spam those as much as you can in the best positions. Next up is your Siphon stance. For me, this is when you kill enemies, you heal. That's how it goes. Not attack. When you kill them is when you heal. But it lowers your resistance. So do not do this if you're going to be in a dangerous situation. Turtle stance. I don't think it can save you from instant kills, but it can save you a lot of the time. Especially at the feet area. You might want to use Turtle Stance. It's a very good move. And then Tornado Stance, it's more trouble than it's worth. And Lightning Stance, I think it just kills, or it just does nothing for you. Maybe it gives you, like, I don't know, AoE or something. I don't care. Oh, and what's it called? These, don't use these. All right, we want to start this out. Get near his feet. Do one of these. Got the Turtle Stance going. Tornado stance again. Now we're going to go to his other foot. Going to get it low enough. And then we're going to hit it with a tornado stance. Bazoom. Not tornado, sorry. Hawk stance. And then now as we're going up, stay away from the fires, but this is about the time where you want to go ahead and try to heal. And then once you're here, stop trying. And then Haktua. Healing for a second here, because we can. Nice. We landed that. If ever you feel in danger, you basically can just do... Oh, nice. You can just do, what's it called, stance. Turtle stance, and that'll save you. Nice. Unfortunately, we can't one-tap this, but we can get it pretty close. I don't want to tank this properly, so there we go. I meant to say I don't want to dodge this, but close enough. Now keep in mind, our turtle stance is on cooldown right now, so we're kind of in danger time. Especially if he does something like this. There we go. Now, the final phase is really the killer phase. You just have to be very careful for it. But be careful of these fire pits on the ground. They will deal quite a lot. Don't care about dodging this. I'm going to stay on the left so that maybe he does his hand attack. Ooh. Okay, now for this one. Basically just wait until there's a good opportunity to hop stance. Wait for his first move, see what he does, and then go in. Do not do that in any other order. I would also not recommend healing normally. Nice. Jump up. Now we're going to wait again until he gives us another opportunity. Oof, that was close. That one can always mess you up real bad. But there we go. Now we're going to drop down. Going to do another hawk stance. Be careful here. There I got my, whatchamacallit going. Jump. There I got my turtle stance going, and that saved me like crazy. Gonna make sure that I run past these guys. Just gonna tank this. Back away. And then go back in. Nice. Gonna cancel my turtle stance. You might notice that we're low on mana, that's fine. We're fairly okay on HP, and we'll get mana as we go. Nice. Fairly safe. Could do one of these. Okay, if that had hit us, it would have been over, but it didn't. Make sure to cancel your Siphon Stance whenever you don't need it. It really does pain. It is very painful to get hit when that is not necessary. Nice. This really is like a Rither game at a certain point. Nice. This we can just kind of ignore, maybe heal a little bit. Just careful of the fires of the ground. Ooh, those fireballs in the middle are kind of rough. Ooh. Okay, that was close. Almost didn't get that one. I'm actually not going to use my second stance here, even though I normally would. I'm just a little bit scared of those fires in the ground. Those fires are not too nice. Okay, gonna heal a little bit. Oh, went to heal. Nice. Up to now then, gonna heal a little bit from these guys as much as we can. They won't all be in good locations. Careful of those fires. They stay a lot longer than you might think. And then let's see what he does. Right side hand. Jump up to it. Nice. Octua. There we go. Now we're in the home stretch. Just gonna tank the hell out of this. Jump. Nice. Careful of those fires. Gonna siphon as much as I can here. Bit rough, but got away with it. I would always recommend constantly being attacking. There's just very little reason not to. Nice. Gonna heal a little bit because we can. He rarely ever does like 2 slam attacks in a row. His laser middle beam attack can lead into a slam, so that's why I'm kind of careful of that, but other than that, it's fairly chill. Gonna just tank this with Turtle Stance. By the way, if you Siphon Stance that instead of Turtle Stancing it, oh boy, are you going to take some damage. At the end of his circle here, I go to the middle. Nice. Goodbye hand. Now I just stay on the right side for the most part. You can get a hit on there, but I don't risk it. It's just very difficult, I find. Careful of the middle green lasers. Again, green laser, bad laser. We're trying to bait out something on the right side here. Just going to tank that. I cancel my Siphon. Ah, I got greedy for damage. Shouldn't do that. Gonna have to dodge this one. Did a little bit of tornado stance for that one. Gonna heal up with Siphon for a second here. Hopefully we get a hand slam. Nope. Ooh, those fireballs in some rough positions. Wasn't sure how those hands would work out. Or how those, whatchamacallits, the slam would work out, timing-wise, but looks like we were fine. As long as you keep the orcs off your back, you are relatively fine here. Nice, okay. Now, just a few more Hop-Tuas. Again, play it very, very safe. Wait for him to do something, and then you do something. Not the other way around. Jump. Hop-Tua. Back up. For that exact reason. And then Hop-Tua. And that's it. I would highly, highly recommend practicing that one. Barb is very different from Monk. Monk is actually pretty similar to a lot of other heroes. Especially if you use like a good melee pet, like I did on my Monk. But Barb, not so much. Very, very, very different. And look at that. Unlocked Super Legendary Knight. 2 more left. The Huntress, I'm not quite sure how to do that, to be honest. I don't know what class to use, because I don't have a gun witch, and apparently that's the go-to. Supreme. And it looks like it's unfortunate. Kind of to be expected. We didn't get anything particularly amazing from that. Yeah, it's a shame. Well, either way, pretty neat. Pretty damn neat. Now we just got to do that 2 more times. Once on an apprentice, which I think Jester also counts as an apprentice. And then once on a Huntress, which I'll have to retrofit this character a little bit, or use this one. I'm not sure. I need to figure out what to use for a Huntress weapon. Alright, so going into the final area, we're going to be using the Ethereal Ancient, because it's just really good. An Ethereal Staff, the one that we got, but you can use pretty much anything. And then that's it. I wouldn't really recommend using an Apprentice for this. I'd recommend, or not the Initiate. I wouldn't recommend the Initiate. I would recommend using a Jester or the Apprentice, because the Overcharge is really great, but I'm lazy, and I have an Apprentice, or an Initiate. And if I can do it on an Initiate with like half the DPS of an Apprentice, then you guys can do it on an Initiate. Anyways, let's get in there. Keep your distance, watch out for the fireballs, and that's the main thing to worry about. Keep your DPS up other than that. And every time you get hit, try to heal soon afterwards. Watch out for those fireballs. Those are really, really, really dangerous. If you want to, you can get a little bit close to get some DPS with your pet in, but it's not always recommended. At times, it can be very detrimental. The only thing that I'd really recommend is just keeping an eye out for, well, obviously the meteor areas, but just try to make sure that you're dodging more than anything else. Your DPS is already not that high, so, you know, the extra little bit of DPS that you might get going in a little bit deeper probably isn't worth it a majority of the time. The laser, despite everything, is still hot garbage, will not damage you for squat. Alright, watch out for these fireballs. This is where Danger Town, USA. Right, watch out for this as well. Middle area is kind of fucked. Got damaged a lot there, so we're going to heal with this. Keep our distance. Get close for the pet damage here. Watch out for the fire pits in the middle. Very unlikely he'll do another slam attack, so we can chill a little bit. Looks like the fire pits are going to be a little bit more generous this time. Nice, we got one of his crystals. Now he's going to be doing another middle laser. This one doesn't matter at all. Hopefully doing a double slam attack afterwards. Left side slam is still perfectly alright. We can get that hand down. I would say that the feet phase, and depending on how they get the meteors, this phase can be the most dangerous. The phase with the head, not that dangerous, funnily enough. Oh, careful of this. Big time careful. I'm actually going to stay in the middle as much as I can here. Should have gone a little bit to the right, but that's why you want to stay in the middle to either force a middle hand attack or a right hand attack. Oh. Good thing is though, because you have so much range, you can get your damage in to his right hand there. Now watch out for those fire pits yet again. Just make sure you're not in the middle of one. Oy. Yeah, I'm really just scared to stay on the right side because these fire pits. Because he can either do a right side slam attack, or alternatively, he can do an attack, oh nice, where he hits the middle. And if he hits the middle while I'm on the far right side, it's really dangerous. Anyways, for now, keep your range. I've noticed that he does whatever attack to begin with, and then he does a sweeping attack afterwards. Nice, hand attack, gonna get a bit close to him. Then as we're close to him, we're going to back up here. You're gonna spawn more minions, we're gonna get close to him. Back away for the sweeping attack. And we're on the next phase. Nice. When you get down here, you can mana bomb if you want. It's actually pretty good damage, but it's just a little too risky for me personally. Just watch out for where the meteors land. He's going to do a foot stomp. Nice. And then he's going to do another fire air attack probably. Nope. Ooh, that was very close. I expected he was going to do that fireball attack with his hand, but instead of doing that, he did a jump. And my timing was very off there, so it was a good chance that I died, but thankfully I didn't. Double slam and jump. By the way, my pet is big enough to hit both of his hands at once, which is really nice, but even if your pet isn't, it shouldn't be that much of a problem. The boss is fairly chill, no matter what. Just as long as you practiced him a ton, you should be good basically no matter what. I had some really, really nasty fireball phases while practicing, and I was still able to get through. So all I'm trying to say is, if I can get through on that, you guys can get through on anything. Plus, I mean, half the reason I'm doing this on an initiate instead of like an apprentice or something smart is to just prove that if I can do it, so can you guys. Also, once you've well, not once you have, but once you've done this on like Ruthless and you have the completion, you can go ahead and just do this on like Nightmare Hardcore, and that way you can unlock all your skins. You don't have to do this on Ruthless Hardcore the way I am. This is completely unnecessary. I'm just doing it because I just kind of want to. Watch out for that hand. Nice. We're going to get one of the hands here, hopefully both. Not that lucky. And jump. There we are. Now we're on to the head phase. Gonna stay in the middle. Woo! That was close. I thought I was going to do a hand attack, a normal one. Back away. Get close for that pet DPS. Nice. We're nearly on the final phase now. There we are. Watch out for those fireballs. More of a visual distraction than anything, though. You're going to do either a stomp or... Yep, stomp. There's either a stomp or a fireball attack from the air. Now he's going to do either a stomp or a targeted fire hit. Targeted fire hit. Dodge that. Stay close to his feet. He's summoning his minions. Watch out for the fire pits. Ooh, that was rough. Get back to the middle. Now, I've tried doing this with the little wizard pet, and I thought it would be better, but unfortunately, the little bits of damage that you take, they do add up over time. So, because of that, the little wizard doesn't end up being that good, even with mine being like a really good one. It's just not that... Ooh, careful. It's just not that worth it. He's probably going to summon minions or do fireballs after this. Yep, fireballs. Ooh, the middle area might get a little fucky here. We'll see. Watch out for this. Looks like we'll have to steer clear. Hopefully he does a slam attack. Nope, green lasers. We could have a slam after the green lasers, though. Ooh, 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 ooh. That was dangerous. Ooh, that was also very dangerous. Yeah, one thing you really have to watch out for with a staff is if you're doing the left-click, right-click strategy, which is the best DPS as far as I'm aware, just be very, very, very cautious of the fact that if he wants to, whatchamacallit, if you right-click and you get fireball or something bad goes wrong, it might be over. So just be very cautious of that. This is very risky if you fumble a right-click. You saw there, I mean, I almost had a meteor land on me. I was lucky that it didn't. If it did, I probably would have been fine, but a bit hard to tell. Now yet again, we're just gonna have him go up, keep our range. Hopefully he does a single hand slam. Nope, double hand slam. That's alright, get some pet TPS in there. Watch out for this. And then go back in, and that should be it. And that's it. It would be a lot faster and a lot safer on a apprentice with the overcharge ability, with the exception of his health. His health is a bit low. There's a few skins you can use to increase his health to around the same as an initiate, but you should be fine no matter what. And if you really, really trust your dodging a lot of the time, but you just, you don't want to risk it, you can go ahead and jump on a Jester who has a lot more health than either of those two. But either way, we have unlocked our skin for our apprentice. Super Legendary Mage. We got an Eternian Spear. I think that's what it means, by the way, with the swap reward system, by the way. Normally you get like 1 random reward per extra hero. I think with switching rewards, you get a dedicated reward based on whatever is your primary. Ooh, freaking staff. And it looks like, yeah, well, surprising nobody, the accessories are terrible. Wow, you are horrible. And a terrible, terrible spear. I will keep it though, because it's purple. And I think this might be a better staff than whatever we currently have. Now then, last character left over is going to be the Huntress. And, I don't really know what to do for the Huntress. I'm going to be entirely honest. We kind of need her to have all her points in range, I think, for like a couple of the crystals. So either I do a bit of a different build for that second phase, or something else. I don't know. There's also the other problem of we don't really have a good gun for her. I think, hold on, this one right here might be like an okay gun. Let's see. It's got decent stats, but you just want to max out the shot speed and the projectile speed. Shots per second. Okay, now let's upgrade the base damage. Let's see, is this enough to really satisfy us? Only one way to know, which is, first of all, unequip all her stuff. We can do this at the end for the other one too, so this isn't super nerve-wracking. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention this, but why can I? Oh, it's because our our item stash is full. I didn't mention this with the other one, but we are actually using our ultimate accessory, because turns out for a face mask, I don't have anything better than that one, so that's kind of funny. Anyways, let's go equip all this janks. And I think, where is it? There we are. Alright, we got everything equipped, yep. Let's respec into hero damage, and let me see, are we dealing a good enough amount of damage to call this worth it? 5.1 is actually a ton. Alright, let's see. And this is consistent damage. 6 mil. 6 mil is kind of rough. I gotta be honest. It's really rough. How about the pet DPS? What are we looking at? Okay, pet DPS is really good though. At least compared to the initiate. She was getting like 1 point something. I do know that one of her better abilities is... where is it? Here it is. It's her piercing shot. So let's see. 10 mil? I mean, if I can spam it, it might be okay. Or I guess it's not that much mana, and I think it is on a 3-second cooldown, so it could be good. It's just going to be really rough for like the head phase, but I don't know. Maybe I'll look around for a different weapon, but no matter what, I'm also definitely going to be practicing on the old one practicer in local. All right, now it's time to do it with the Huntress. Very quickly, I think Gunwitch counts. Check the wiki on this. I might be wrong about this. I remember people complaining, but Huntress is kind of a mediocre character for doing this. She has pretty good pet damage, which is nice, but I didn't really bother getting a good weapon. I think the Scarab Bow is actually one of the better weapons to get, so I would recommend that one. But I'm just going to stick with this energy cannon that I got a while ago. It's 280 upgrades, 190k base. It's got decent sides, but it's nothing particularly amazing. Basically, you can do perfectly fine without. Also, you might notice the same gear set on every character. I'm just recycling everything like crazy. Here's the stats. I mean, fairly basic. Keep your range. Keep your range, except for when you don't need to. And be ready to use your heal. At least with this much health, like this really is not that much health. You need to be ready to just start healing. Because, oh boy, you're gonna get damaged. Oh, and use your what's gonna call it ability as much as you can. Gonna stand close here. That's fine. Gonna stand close. He's not gonna do anything to me, probably. Alright, nice. Stay on the left side here. Jump over the wave. We can't get close to that leg, but thankfully we have range. Now we hope for a middle stomp because our pet does crazy damage on the middle stomp. Although I think that's because it's big. It's like large pet. Nice. Oof, I thought I died there because of the archer hitting me at the same time as the things landing there. Middle might be a bit fucked here, we'll see. Careful of this. Don't want to get hit by that for sure. Nice, big damage here. You actually want to stay farther away for your hawk shot, but we're not focusing on that kind of DPS anyways. We should be able to two-phase pretty much every hand that he drops down. Nice. Surprised he didn't do the... I'm surprised he didn't do the attack where he, what's it called, summons the meteors over there. There it is. Middle is empty, so we're chilling. Yeah, I was thinking it was going to be a left hand. That's alright. Now, I could stay on the right, or I could just kind of hope that he's not going to screw me over super badly and go for the range damage. Nice. Oof, that's so rough. That's really rough. Not being able to get his hand there. That might cost us. I'm extremely nervous for this one. I have to admit that right now. Oof. I'm really nervous because it's the first time we've been here. Or it's the last one that I have to do. And also, I want to go eat food. So stay away as normal. Nice, right hand. We're going to get up close to his face. Continue doing the hawk stances. We actually have a lot of mobility, so we can get away with stuff like that. Nice. Let's say, if we stay close to his face, there we go. It's a bit difficult, but you should be able to get away with a lot there. Right, nice. Stay away. And get back. Looks like we're fine over here. Watch out for the middle stomp. We didn't do it. Ooh, this is a very rough positioning. Alright, as long as we stay away from the fires here, we'll be okay. Pray for a middle hand. Nice. I don't think our pet was hitting both sides there. Nice. By the way, that middle green laser will wreck you on this. Oh, you just don't have enough health. Middle might get really dicey here. The dicier the middle gets, the rougher your position will be. See me get nervous there? Started it a little bit in the middle of my bit there. Nice. Gotta do a bit of jumps here and there just to dodge some of the damage because, much as I don't want to admit it, it is fairly significant. Hopefully another middle hand, not just a one-sided hand. We should be able to get the hand down from this stuff. Ooh, not quite. Alright, we'll be focusing that hand. Nice. Hopefully, nah, we're not getting that right hand anytime soon. Ah! Or left hand, I guess. His left hand. Ay, ay, ay. It's a shame. I was really hoping we could get it. Ooh, stay away, stay away, stay away, stay away. Rain laser. Big, big damage. Okay, middle is Fuckage Town, USA. Potentially as fucked as it gets. Yeah, that's pretty bad. But that's nice. That's nice. Oh. You can survive that totally fine. You just have to go to the outskirts and time your jump a bit better, but it's very risky when the middle area is that fuckage. Somehow I knew he was going to do that. Nice. Ooh, that was close. The orc almost screwed me. That's why you got this pet, because it gives you a little bit of knockback to play around with. Nice. Let him drop. Get over here. As long as the meteors don't fuck me, we're fine. Then we'll move over to the right side here. Nice. I'm definitely least confident with this character out of all of them. Nice middle laser. Big DPS. Probably another follow-up DPS phase if we're lucky. Nice. We're hitting both sides. That's also very good. Middle is going to get down soon. Center area is fairly clean. Watch out for the death media. Ooh, that orc almost screwed me by tossing me in a bit of a leftwise direction. Nice. Basic middle laser, that's alright. Hopefully he does a double hand and we dodged, and then we are good. Middle area seems fine. Depends, but seems fine. His left side, we have to focus on now. Our left side. I wouldn't recommend jumping as much as I am here, I'm just very nervous. That middle area is looking real nasty. Hopefully we get a left, or, you know, left hand slam here. If not, okay, nice. Making it easy for me, man. Appreciate it. I know all the people who are really good at the game are probably like laughing at how much I'm commentating over this, because like, dude, it's not that hard, but dude, it's hard. It's that hard. Ooh, it's an interesting start. He doesn't normally do that. I would get close to him, but I'm afraid of a face stomp. That should be all she wrote. Woo. Oh, that's nice. Oh, my heart is beating very fast. That's very nice. It's very nice. Alright, anyways. That is all 4 super legendary skins unlocked for all of our characters, meaning we never have to go back here again, ever. Although we will be fighting Old One for a couple of reasons, but one of them is True Boss Rush, which we don't have unlocked yet, but I believe through this area you can start True Boss Rush, which is the Ultimate Defender. And also, if you look at the Lost Quest, once you complete that first one, you get Crystalline Resurgence parts 1 through 3, maybe 4? I think it's just 3. Part 3, you can do like a secret Old One super powerful mode boss fight. Whoa. And that's what we'll be doing in the future. Hold on, I want to test this out. Let's see just how much better this would have been. You know, if you had gotten a little bit luckier than I did. How much easier of a time could you have had with the Old One? We're dealing like nearly 1 million, but with this... Yeah, this is going to deal quite a lot more. Let's see. 190 to 260. I guess it's not that much of a difference. Oh well. But there we go. We have all of the super legendary skins. I guess I'll change my secondary Huntress to be a super legendary Huntress, but to be honest, everyone else is probably just going to stay mostly the same, because I just kind of don't care. Oh, hello. That's nice. I just kind of don't really care about getting, wow, super legendary like skins equipped, because it's just, I don't like them. They're slow, they're bulky, and especially for somebody like my ninja. Hold on, let me show you guys something that really bothers me with the ninja. Not only do I like having my speed, but this is a steep enough incline. I can do this. Look at that. That's cool. I can't do that with a super legendary skin. Super legendary is just like a lame jump. Also, they're slower, which I don't like, but mainly the jump is lamer. I don't mind the super legendary skins as much for like the Squire. Oh, hold on, I never showed that off, did I? I don't have it equipped. I don't mind it as much for the Squire, but for the Monk, I mean, like, look at this. You can't compare this lame, stupid little jump to the legendary jumps that we were getting on the ninja skin. Anyways, though, I'm getting sidetracked. Doesn't look like we got anything else that's really worthwhile. Maybe we did. Maybe we did. Oh, wow, we were overstocked. But either way, let me go ahead and put my items back on the Huntress, and also respec her. I forgot about it as well. Just do full into range. I wasn't sure if we would have enough range, given that I put 1,000 points basically into off of range. But we had enough range to go through that area without any real difficulty. So that was nice. Anyways, and that's pretty much it for the episode. We got a lot of things done. Namely, I think we started out with the... Oh, wait, no. We started out probably with the Assault Challenge pack. Yeah. I just really wanted to get this out of the way. Part 1, such a time crunch, man. Jesus. Oh, give me like an extra 10 seconds on this map. Seriously, it's really annoying to do that, but whatever. We got through it. Part 2. One part of it just crashed for me. That area with like the weakened aura, it constantly crashed for me. So I don't know what's going on there, but we got through that. Part 3. God, I don't like taking a lot of time for things, but you really have to take your time on part 3, and I was not a fan of that, but we got through it. We got unicorns. That's cool. But quest for completion pets. We're not going to get an ultimate unicorn. I'm going to tell you that right now. But after that, we went to the Eternia shards. Mistymire, Morrago, Aquanos, Sky City. 4-player difficulty. Got the unique weapon for each of these maps. Hell, you know what? Let's go upstairs, and I will show you guys the unique weapons. I think I've already shown them off, actually, earlier in the episode, maybe. But they're all very, very cool weapons. I have them placed right next to the place that you get them from. I'm going to be doing that for pretty much all the rewards, but here they are. Let me turn off the beams. Fairly cool weapons for all of them. Some get a better treatment than others, but for the most part, very, very cool weapon rewards. But yeah, I think after, what was it? After Sky City, did we do anything else? Oh, you're right. Yeah. What am I forgetting? After Sky City, we started with this big portal over here, and we fought the old one. Monk, we did it on 4-player difficulty. That was really rough, especially because I hadn't practiced a lot. But Crystalline Dimension on Ruthless Hardcore, 4-player difficulty. We did it with Monk. After the practice, it was fairly easy. I will say that. But I just wouldn't recommend doing it. The rewards just are not really worth it, unless you have some crazy strategy. But we did it with the Monk, and then what was the next character? Was it the Barbarian? Because I know for Barb, we did a whole bunch of the very first challenge in the video game, No Towers Allowed, Ruthless Hardcore, because you can basically AFK it. I think if you have good enough pets, or like you have the right setup for pets, like a slowing pet, A, B, C, or D, you can actually just totally AFK this, which is insane. But we got a couple of Barb weapons from that. We still actually have them on our Barb, and let me tell you right now, these guys, we're never going to use these again. We'll just get a better Barb weapon. I think the Maleficent Rapier thing from Alchemical Labs is one that I should have gone for, but I was able to grind these completely AFK while watching Invincible, so like, I don't really mind. But yeah, we got the Super Legendary Knight skin after that, and then we did Apprentice, using an Initiate, by the way, which was not my smartest move. Definitely better to do it on the Jester, because look at this, 1300 HP, and he has like 240k. He has a lot of health. It also has like fairly similar damage to the Initiate. But either way, we got him done. And then last but not least was our Huntress. And Huntress, I wasn't sure that we were going to have enough range for the gas traps to work all the time, but it worked perfectly fine. And the boss fight, while I would actually argue it was probably the hardest out of all of them, even though the Mage should have been, but or the Initiate should have been, she was actually not that bad. And through it all, we have the rewards shown here. Our Squire, this guy, Temple of Polybius. Look at this, Poly. We will be doing this with the Squire, at least the Assault pack, or the Assault part of it. I've heard a lot of good things about him. The Huntress, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I have no clue when we will ever use the Huntress. And the Apprentice, he's actually pretty good. I tested it out on local. A level 100 Apprentice with like the right setup, he has really good damage. Like, really good. And so does the Squire, by the way, but Apprentice is ranged. So I'm pretty excited to use him. And of course, the Monk, who sucks balls. I hate this Monk skin. Hold on, let me quickly show you guys why I hate the Monk skin. Not only is it slow, which I detest, but also, with the Ninja Monk skin, look at this, look at this. When you get an incline like this, isn't that awesome? Isn't that sick? You can't do that with the Legendary Monk skin. The Legendary Monk skin jump is lame as balls. I really do not like it. Also, the color scheme. Huntress looks okay. The shoulder pads, these areas, you can change the color on those. Cannot get them to look good. I don't know why. They just can't look properly orange, so you know what? We're sticking with what it is. It's fine. The Squire, just can't, I don't know. The orange just doesn't track correctly. It's a bit rough, but overall still fine. And then, oh my god, look at him. God, he is beautiful. I thought there'd be too much orange, but nope. This Super Legendary Apprentice looks amazing. And of course, the bottom of the barrel Monk, who just looks stupid as shit. By the way, he's like totally blacked out with the skin. but he for some reason still looks blue. I don't really know why, but nonetheless, I can get like a really cool 6-shot that I was thinking about using this with a thumbnail, but I have a better idea. But nonetheless, F3, let me press Q. Look at this. Ah, look at that. Hold on. Oh, there we go, there we go. Isn't that sick? Isn't that sick? Anyways, thank you all for watching. I don't really know what I have planned for the next episode because this episode was just random. Maybe we'll do Crystalline Resurgence or something. I'm not entirely sure. I don't have anything in mind. We might do the campaign. Honestly, that might be the next episode. The entirety of the campaign. Glitterhelm Caverns. God, I love Glitterhelm. And I don't know. Maybe just get like Ultimate Defender next episode or something. Or most of the way towards it. We'll see. I might just make the next episode entirely the campaign and all of the base challenges in the game. But either way, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye. Oh, and I forgot to include it, but here's the trophies.